What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It looks like Marvel Studios is shaking things up a bit, and they are now deciding the new course of action that they want to take for Phase 6. And there are some movies and shows that are now in jeopardy of being cut, but also at the same time, there are movies and shows that could happen that weren't going to happen before. What Marvel Studios had planned for Phase 5 and Phase 6 are now kind of changing, and they are reevaluating everything and coming up with a new plan. And this does include changing what their previous Phase 6 slate looked like. And the reason that they are doing this is because of the announcement that they made at San Diego Comic-Con's Hall H. Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU to play Doom. And now Avengers Doomsday has replaced Avengers Kang Dynasty, but their entire plan seems to kind of be replaced with that announcement. Of course, Kang was supposed to be the big bad, and now Dr. Doom is going to be the big bad, but it actually goes a lot deeper than that. Because according to some reports, Robert Downey Jr. agreed to come back as Dr. Doom if the Russo brothers came back as well to direct Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. But then on top of that, the Russo brothers brought in Stephen McFeely to write Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, whereas before it was supposed to be Michael Waldron writing both of them. So this was not part of Marvel's immediate plan. This changed when Robert Downey Jr. came back and gave some stipulations, along with the Russo brothers as well, bringing Stephen McFeely in. Now, most people welcome this. A lot of people think that Robert Downey Jr. returning as Doom is really cool. Some people are upset about it, but some people are also very open-minded and willing to see what happens. They're neither happy or disappointed right now. But a lot of people are happy that the Russo brothers are back, and they are bringing Stephen McFeely back, who helped write all of the Captain America movies, and of course, Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Secret Wars. And the Russo brothers directed those films, and they are the best MCU films that we have. So a lot of people are excited that they came back, but again, it changed things for Marvel Studios. And some of you might have noticed that in very recent interviews for Agatha All Along, a lot of executives at Marvel Studios have been talking about how things have changed. They've even said that there has been a big shift with Marvel Studios lately. And of course, we have heard from Kevin Feige and Disney CEO Bob Iger, both talking about how they're not going to produce as many shows anymore, and they're not going to produce as many movies anymore that they've been doing in the past. So it's now become about quality over quantity, which a lot of people are really excited about. And a new report today from insider Daniel RBK states that in the next couple of months, Marvel Studios is going to decide the fate of Blade and Armor Wars. But it goes a lot deeper than that. This is not just about Marvel Studios deciding what they want to do about two projects, Blade and Armor Wars. It's really them deciding what they want Phase 6 to be. Because at this point in time, it seems relatively clear that the studio doesn't know what Phase 6 is going to be in its entirety. Now, of course, we know that we have the Fantastic Four and the two Avengers films, and they do have their release dates, and we've done a couple of videos already talking about what those release dates could be. We have films coming out like Shang-Chi 2, which is confirmed. We have Doctor Strange 3, Thor 5. It's been confirmed for a while that Marvel Studios is writing an X-Men film right now. But there is a lot to consider, like, does Blade actually fit anywhere in the multiverse saga right now? Plus, they haven't had the best of luck with Blade. The writers have changed, the director has changed, they've done many different versions of the script at this point in time. Same thing goes with Armor Wars. It was supposed to be a Disney Plus show, then they changed it to a movie, but then they gave a Secret Invasion, which showed us that Rhodey hasn't actually been Rhodey since Captain America Civil War. He's been a Skrull. But Secret Invasion was not received well at all. And on top of that, Wesley Snipes' Blade was super well received in Deadpool and Wolverine. And he did drop that comment, there's only been one Blade, there's only ever going to be one Blade. And some fans are starting to wonder if that is actually going to be true. Now, at some point in time, I'm sure we'll get another Blade, but will it happen before Avengers Secret Wars? Now, I have personally heard what the insider Daniel RBK has heard as well. Marvel Studios is deciding things right now, and within the next few months, they will basically decide what they want Phase 6 to be. And again, this does come with a lot of other changes that Marvel Studios is making right now. And like I mentioned, a lot of executives during interviews for Agatha All Along specifically say things like a new plan or a shift at Marvel Studios or the new Marvel. For example, in one interview, executive producer Jack Schaefer, she was asked that since Marvel is dialing back with everything, would Agatha All Along have been made let's say, now? If they didn't make the decision to do this years ago and they were making the decision on it now, would it have been made? And Jack Schaefer's response was, yes, I agree with you, things at Marvel have shifted, and if we tried to make it now, it wouldn't necessarily be a lock, meaning Marvel Studios has changed the way that they are doing things, especially deciding what movies and what shows and what characters they'll make movies and shows about. And some of you might have noticed that Marvel Studios has kind of gone back to the more popular characters that they used to focus on, or popular actors like Robert Downey Jr. But we're also going back to Ultron, and we're going back to Vision, and the Scarlet Witch is a name that is thrown out there a lot now, especially since Agatha All Along, the Scarlet Witch's name's going to be dropped. We've already seen it written in the trailers, and her presence is going to be felt throughout this series. And Disney CEO Bob Iger actually specifically mentioned at one point in time that they're going to go back and focus on their more popular characters and not focus so much on the smaller characters or more niche characters, which I think Agatha would fall under. So I am glad that they decided to do this now, because we might not have gotten an Agatha All Along show if they were deciding its fate now rather than a couple of years ago. But that does bring us to phase 6 and what is being decided for those movies and shows right now. And the really interesting part is that Marvel Studios is actually developing more than they ever had in the past. But the kicker here is that they're not going to make everything that they develop. And as executive Brad Winderbaum has stated many times now, this is a part of the new Marvel. And he actually stresses this big time in an interview, and he says we should talk about this.
That's you.
So Nova's in development right now. We are, but I will say we're developing more than we make. You know, this is part of the new Marvel. But we should talk about this.
And he goes on to state what we've actually been talking about for a bit now. Marvel Studios is focusing on quality over quantity. Even though they are developing a lot at one point in time, not everything that they're developing, not every project, not every movie or show is going to make it to the screen. They have new standards now, and they're not going to release anything unless they think it is really great, which is how it should be. And this now falls into what they are doing for phase 6. They are now reevaluating all of the projects. They have their key projects locked down, like we mentioned, Fantastic Four, Doomsday, Secret Wars, Wonder Man we know is coming, Vision Quest is coming, although I would say Wonder Man might not be entirely safe. We definitely know Armor Wars isn't safe, we know Blade isn't safe right now. They could make these, but they also could cut them entirely. Because if you think about it, what we're going into for Avengers Secret Wars, Rhodey doesn't necessarily fit in too well. Because after Secret Invasion, that was after Endgame. So he had no idea what happened. He had no idea that Tony Stark died. He's going to have to deal with that and process all of that. And it would be really interesting and really hard to see him just jump right back into being War Machine and fighting with the Avengers after everything happened. Now, he could definitely do that because it's in his character to fight for what is right. And he was an Avenger before. He was in Avengers Age of Ultron. So he totally could. However, again, since it's kind of complicated, maybe Marvel Studios could decide that, well, we're going to tell Rhodey's story after the Multiverse Saga, or maybe we don't really ever get closure for him, or maybe they just put him right into an Avengers film without doing Armor Wars. That's what Marvel Studios is deciding right now. They're deciding which characters to focus on, which characters are going to basically produce the most money, produce the most excitement from fans, and bring them to the theaters. And they're doing this for every single show and movie that they have planned, deciding what is going to be the best route for Marvel Studios. Because remember, Disney and Marvel Studios, although I do think they care about what the fans think, they are a business. They are huge businesses, some of the biggest in the world, and they have to make money, and Disney hasn't exactly been making a ton of money lately. So that's another reason for this change. They have to really decide what is going to work best business-wise, but also work best for the health of the MCU overall and what fans are really going to enjoy. So whatever we think we know about Phase 6, it's not exactly safe. It's not secure. They could totally change it on us, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. I'm excited to see what we're actually going to get for the future of the Multiverse Saga. But go ahead and let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Are you excited? Are you not? What movies or shows would you like to see happen in Phase 6? Let me know, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with the MCU. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.